Welcome back to another episode of Detroit 360, your personal guide to all things Detroit. I'm your host, Sheila Grant. Each year, the auto show brings so many people to our great city. Surely it has an impact on local businesses. Let's take a look at how they prepare for all the extra attention. So if you can just tell me, I know, but tell my viewers your name and where we are and what you do.
I am Dennis Archer Jr., and we're happening to be sitting in the middle of Central Kitchen and Bar, our downtown restaurant in the First National Building that's been here for 2.5 years.
Okay. So the auto show is coming up, and that's huge, huge, huge business for Detroit. Tell me what that means for your business being here centrally in the middle of everything.
For all of us who are doing business downtown, not only the media week where we get thousands of people from the international press, that goes into industry week where we have the supplier community from around the world, and then to the public week, which is 8 or 9 days of the show. It definitely increases our business. It diversifies those that are first-time visitors to the restaurant. Sure. So we look forward to it every year, and every year we're able to fine-tune and change how we approach the week. So
what are some of the things that you plan to do to prepare for the amount of traffic? That you said thousands of people from international press and then the regular public show. You know, what do you guys do to make sure you have enough staff and food?
Well, interesting question. I mean, one of the things we do is we do some sensitivity training for our staff. You know, we try to explain there's going to be a number of people here from different cultures. If there are certain nuances as it pertains to communicating with different cultures, we just try to do a 50,000-foot little instruction on that. We make sure we're well stocked during media week and industry week. We step up our wine program a little bit because people are coming in wanting more robust and different regional, geographically regional, from a world standpoint, wines. So we step our wine portfolio up. And we do staff up a little bit during the media week and on the weekend preceding media week. Other than that, it's business as usual. We do an outstanding job at balancing our staff and our product mix, because there are other times like this. Jazz Fest.
Mm-hmm. And that's literally in your backyard.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But Jazz Fest, the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, where we see those ebbs and flows. Sure. So we're able to manage through that.
You guys think this looks like me or no? Another art form is shown in this next clip on Art Detroit. It features creative talent Jenny Risher and her Deciphered exhibit, which is on display currently at the Detroit Institute of Arts from now until February 28th. Be sure to check it out before it ends and enjoy this next clip.
Just tell me what you need. It's all right here, yeah, in Detroit. Don't matter what it is, it's all right here. Oh.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There's no greater honor than to have a work, especially as an artist, be in the Detroit Institute of Arts. I mean, it's a world-renowned museum. To know as a student that I would visit here frequently, and then now to have work here is pretty incredible. You know, and I pinch myself daily.
So Jenny, I'm so excited to be here at your Deciphered exhibit at the DIA. You want to show me through the exhibit?
Yes, welcome Sheila.
Perfect.
Deciphered is an exhibit that I spent 3 years working on. And actually my first picture was Trick Trick.
That's this one here?
Yes. First and foremost, this is a photography exhibit, so the flow of the photographs have to make sense together. In many cases, we just did what photographs look best, you know, that complemented each other.
How many pictures total?
There's 81 photographs total in the exhibit. I actually did 100, but the original wish list was 50. And then as I went along, it was very hard to narrow it down because there's so many people that are so important. I had always been a fan of like rock and roll and Motown, and noticed a lot of those photographs were in museum archives, but hip hop is not. So I thought creating this bodywork would be a valuable asset. And I've always been inspired by Detroit. A journalist that interviewed me for Heart Soul Detroit, a book I did a couple years ago, had said a quote about Detroit has a way of calling their children home. I think this magnet, I don't know exactly what it is, but you can't deny the power of Detroit. For me, it's like a muse. Like all my projects have been Detroit-centered. Because for me, I find there's so much magic and wonder here in the city, and as an artist, I just want to capture that some way. I wanted it to feel like Detroit. I wanted it to feel like the artists. And I also wanted to show our city that hadn't really been seen. For a photographer, there's no better genre of music to photograph, because it's such a fun group of people to photograph because they're creative, they get it, you know, they get the artistic license, the process. So they want to make the best picture possible. Detroit's hip hop is really unique in the fact that it takes from a lot of different genres. Like it takes from, you know, funk, it takes from Motown, it takes from techno. I think because of that, Detroit has a more eclectic kind of unique sound. I'm an advertising and commercial photographer, so I'm very used to producing shoots. So for these shots, they may look simple, but there's actually a lot of thought. You know, you have to think about the location, coordinating with the artist's time. You know, how do you want them to look in their portrait? Is it, you know, their clothing styling? If it's women, it's the hair and the makeup, and even the men, what hat do I wear? The car culture in Detroit's so important. So, you know, getting the right American car to the decade. So there's a lot of little things that kind of, you know, it's just part of the production. It wasn't a stretch to do this.
Okay. Are you still in the meantime doing your commercial and advertising photography?
Oh yeah, I have to, because that's what funds these passion projects. I didn't receive a grant or anything to do this work, or generally any of my passion projects I don't, just because the grant process is such a long process. I always feel like by the time I get the grant, I could have been done with the work. So I really approached this exhibit more academic. I really became a student of hip hop, which was pretty incredible. So, you know, not only as an artist learning about hip hop, I learned a lot about race and the political kind of, arena that this music lives in. Only when you delve into projects like this, it's like you're throwing yourself into this new world.
Tell me about this, who these people are, what it means, how you had the vision to pull this picture together.
If I were to have few pictures of women in this exhibit, I was going to have the strongest ones possible.
Sure, absolutely.
So I thought you know, you couldn't really get any stronger than women activists, you know, or just women in general. Because for me, I don't think there's anything more beautiful or powerful as a group of women standing together for the common cause of something positive. The Black Lives Matter, this was important for me to do too, because I felt like it was the contrast of eras, where this is of today and this is from the 60s. And really it's, in a sense, it's the same argument, you know, the same problem, but just in a different time. Art is reflective of the times, so it's important to do that as an artist, to make sure your art is reflective of the era that, you know, you document.
Absolutely.
During this process, I wanted the pictures to feel like the artist. So I asked them, like, where would you like your picture taken and why? And I really worked with the person, you know, as how they would like their photograph taken. So I feel like together we created something for Detroit that's very representative of the city.
We are at 35 East Grand River. We are Queens Bar, Detroit, and my name is Sam. I am the operating manager / owner here at the bar.
So how long have you guys been here?
It'll be 2 years this spring.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been
Okay,
really good,
and we're at the corner, what is this, Grand River?
Farmer and Grand River.
Okay.
So
Good location though, right?
yes, it's been a really, really good location for us.
So tell me about what Queens Bar is about.
Queens Bar is like mainly, we try to focus mainly on vibes here. You know, we don't have any televisions here, and we rely heavily on music, and we have DJs here 2 to 3 times a week. So it's very important for us to have a place in downtown where people can just come, relax, chill, a good conversation room, you know. So that's kind of what we pride ourselves on, is just having good vibes here.
Yeah.
So.
So we've got the auto show coming up.
Yes.
And that means huge numbers for Detroit in general,
Yes.
especially for downtown businesses. And so tell me what that means for your business, because you've been in place for an auto show already.
Yes. We get a lot of, we're like the after party for a lot of the auto show attendees, and also those that work for the auto show. And a lot of the execs that have like bigger parties at other places around here, they'll come here later. So it's very, it's like a nightcap.
Members of the media from all around the world have descended here on Detroit. Their home base is just behind me in the media center. It's their job to tell the story about what's happening here at the auto show in Detroit. There's writers, photographers, videographers. One of the photographers here is our very own Cyrus Teta. He's a photographer for the city of Detroit, and he's also the focus on this next piece, On the Job.
24 hours a day, there are City of Detroit employees working diligently, behind the scenes with a goal to help improve the quality of life for Detroiters. We'll witness the ups and downs of servicing the city as we follow the people involved and see firsthand the roles they perform throughout a day on the job. Today we go on the job with Cyrus Teta, a photographer working in his first year for the city of Detroit, creating images for the city's new channel and website, The Neighborhoods.
What we do here at The Neighborhoods is we produce content for theneighborhoods.org and Channel 21 if you're a Comcast customer here in Detroit. We tell stories from all across the city, the east side, the west side, and southwest Detroit, to really give a full picture of what Detroit is all about. We interview residents, we interview neighbors, small business owners, churches, nonprofits, other organizations. What Cyrus does is he's one of our photographers for the whole Neighborhoods project. He's gone around the city to almost all 209 neighborhoods to show life in action, to show beautiful houses, to show parks, recreation centers, small businesses, everything that makes up the fabric of the city. And he also goes along with our writers for the Neighborhoods project, capturing the subjects of the story. He's got a good eye and a good lens for capturing that subject and really painting the full portrait. What Cyrus does, it's key to what we're trying to accomplish with the Neighborhoods project.
When I was growing up, Detroit has always been like, my whole life, negative attention from media, not even media, but people who was not even that far from the city. I feel like I grew up in the whole city. I was born on the east side. We stayed on Yorkshire and East Warren, but we went to church on the west side in Cody Rouge neighborhood, Evergreen in West Chicago, and I grew up in that church my whole life. My grandmother lived in Southwest Detroit, so I went to elementary school in Southwest Detroit. I was in DPS K through 12. I went to the University of Michigan in pursuit of a business degree at first. I had a roommate who had experience in like the Adobe stuff. I had never even heard of that stuff before I went to college. That was like my introduction to the arts. I have an English degree. I graduated from school in 2015, and then in 2016, I started taking pictures from my friends who were graduating. When they were graduating, I was just doing like $50 photo shoots, and you know, I kept going. I believe anything is possible. Anything is possible, and you can make anything happen if you just go ahead and work for it.
You don't use Canon, do you?
No, I don't actually. I have a Sony battery to use.
Not if it don't look like this.
Oh yeah, no, I don't have one of those.
You sure you ain't got one of these, Marcel? No, I don't think I got one.
Getting the job with the city was like, it was big for me. It was like, man, this was my big break. And there was two things that I knew for sure. It would be a lot of creative freedom, and I would be able to be an artist on a professional level, which is something that I always, you know, wanted to do. I was always had a kind of like a vast imagination. Like I grew up watching cartoons. I love cartoons. I think I always wanted to be an artist, but I just never knew what kind of platform. Because the first thing that I ever wanted to be, the first kind of job was a cartoonist. But then I realized later on, once I went to Cass Tech and I took drafting, and we were doing like this serious like drawing and architecture stuff, I'm like, I don't really like this. It's clean. I like telling people stories. I like capturing moments. I like when people are happy when I capture a moment and show them. I love to share those moments with people. I love like taking pictures of people, editing them, and then texting them out real quick. You let anybody else tell it, the whole city is negative. So we don't sit on the negative things. We move past it and we find a way to get through that and make it happen. So that's definitely Detroit.
Thank you.
That's what made me. That's the spirit that's in me. And that's the spirit that I took on to Ann Arbor when I started creating and wanting to carve a lane for myself. I took that straight from growing up out of the neighborhoods, you know, canceling out all the noise, what everybody else has to say about you, and just doing your thing and getting the job done. Like, that's Detroit.
So I charged my battery all night, and it's already missing a bar. Just a couple minutes ago, I was only down to 2 bars, and now it's jumped back up. I know I got a terrible battery right now, but hopefully it's not really dying, because the parade hasn't even started yet. We gonna get it going. We on faith right now. We shooting on faith.
As the city comes up, this is like, that's history. That's our history, and somebody is making an effort to document the city's history. It's gonna be amazing to say that, yeah, I remember when I was 23, just left college, and I was shooting pictures. I took the picture with Big Sean getting the key to the city. I took, you know, the picture that blew up all over it. It was all on every blog and everything, and you know, with the mayor, it's just like we get a lot of access. So looking back, it's like, man, being a part of that history in a city that I grew up in all parts of the city, it's amazing. And I love when I first started working downtown. It's just a great feeling to have grown up here, and now it's like I'm a professional here, working to, you know, bring the city up, working to uplift it. It's like I can say I was coming up during Detroit's comeback.
So from the children of the city of Detroit, let's present you with our highest honor, the key to the city. Welcome to Detroit, Sandra. Thank you, Mayor. You know, Detroit is one of my greatest stops on Christmas Eve. and you have been so welcoming to me and great for the city of Detroit. I've enjoyed seeing.
I'm so young. I never saw this stuff coming for me. I never imagined myself being a professional photographer, and here I am in the mayor's office now. So. I'm still in the phase of taking it all in, but I know later on, 20 years down the line, it'll be very, very important. It's something that I'm already proud of, but I'll be even more proud of it later on, I know, because the city is only going up. It's only getting better. And I can say, wow, man, we really came a long way, and I was there. I like them. I'll get the car. I'll be downstairs.
Okay. Oh, you going the cars are we taking?
Yeah. These ones gonna be smooth. That's right.
Oh yeah.
Horse.
That's slick. Yeah.
Yeah, just a couple. I like this one. Pistons in the line. Sweet. I'm like, was he jumping in the air? Or he was standing on that thing. Yeah, it was cool. Got a couple cool shots. I felt like I always had artistry in me, but I never knew how to get it out. I didn't even know what Photoshop was. I didn't know what Illustrator was. It was just like, once I got introduced to these resources, I just got my hands on them and kind of went crazy. I wanted to have, some kind of freedom in what I created. And I really didn't know what I wanted, but that's what I really wanted. I just wanted the freedom to create and just get what was on my mind. There's new things happening every day. You can look outside and see that. Everybody think is going on, all the changes are happening downtown, which there are a lot of changes happening downtown, but that's why we had a neighborhoods website, theneighborhoods.org, because there are changes in the neighborhoods every day too. And it's like, you got to be like not paying attention or just saying some things that you heard other people say. You literally have to be not want to change to happen to be saying that there's nothing happening here, because there's things happening every day. The city has a lot of things for everybody to take advantage of. I may have tried to apply for jobs after school to go to like New York or Chicago, but I'm here now and I'm using the resources around me and I made what's best of it.
I put the screen right here in case he doesn't want to come up here. Right. So I got plenty of room. I'll put it right here. Man, this place is huge.
It's really just been little over a year that I've been seriously taking photography seriously. And it's like I couldn't have asked for a better kind of a job to have right now out of school. It's like perfect for me. I'm a professional artist. I get to meet people, be informed on different programs and things going on in the city that are only here to benefit us. It feels like I'm really living in Detroit, It's like a lot of the times you can feel a sense of separation within the city since there's so many neighborhoods. It's like Detroit is a huge city with different parts, but it's like they're not all really connected. Like people on the west side don't know east side streets, or people on the east side never go to the west side. I want to do more architecture with different textures and builds, patterns. I really love it so much and why it just feels so perfect for me to be shooting for the neighborhoods, because that's literally what it's for. Telling the stories of the neighborhood so that everybody can see and we can, connect all neighborhoods throughout Detroit, because Detroit is such a big city. We need to see the stories that are going on in our own neighborhoods, right around the corner from us, right down the block, so we can feel that and feel connected. I spent a week on the west side taking pictures, and I go to Southwest Detroit, take pictures, and it's like I'm really experiencing the whole city, and it's for my job. Working for the city has let me experience the city and all that it has to offer, and I want everybody else to feel that same thing. Fresh. I like this one a lot, but
I don't even know how I want to edit this one. I don't know if I want it to be like dark and can't see this other stuff, or if I want it to, because I control, you know, the shadows. I can make it just pitch black or show the little light to see that. So I'm like, I don't know. I like kind of both.
Oh yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like
where it's all window,
yeah.
or whether you can see some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking for like an in between, maybe like here.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. And then this one is kind of the same deal. I definitely don't see myself putting the camera down because I really found a love for photography, and I'm still trying to get better, like learning the manual settings, aperture, the ISO and the shutter speed, learning more about light and what photography really is. I've been taking time to learn those things since I'm at this level. Now, I don't want to feel like I shouldn't be, so it just made me work even harder to be better so I can stay. So
oh wait, is that the shot you showed me earlier with the blue sky?
Oh yeah.
So you brought the blue sky back off of that?
Off of this one. Our site is something that we've needed for a long time. The media doesn't show, you know, everything that's going on. My job is to capture the stories for everyone to see. You know, a story that everyone can enjoy and everyone can be informed by. I'm gonna head over there. I tried to Google it, but I don't see the parade. My job is to capture the stories, capture the moments, and present them. And then from there, you take that information and you do, you know, what you want with it. You share it. You can use it to motivate you to go into the same exact neighborhood or the same exact, you know, program or person or whatever it may be and support it, or, you know, boost it up, collaborate with them, or start your own project, things that you want to do, things if you feel like, well, when our stories don't matter, why don't you do something that you feel like matters? Then contact us and we can tell your story too. You can either complain about things, complain about your situation, or you can get to work and do something about it.
Now they always say congratulations. Work so hard, forgot how to vacation. They ain't never had the dedication. People hating, say we changing, look, we made it. Yeah, we made it.
Well, that's it for this week's episode of Detroit 360. I'm your host, Sheila Grant. Thanks so much for watching.